Welcome back to Talk Tickers, where we deep dive into those earnings calls so you don't have to.
Right.
And today we are looking at Cronos Group, ticker symbol CRON.
CRON.
Their Q3 2024 report.
Yeah.
Get ready, because we've got a lot to unpack. We're talking record revenue, a really popular edibles brand, some international intrigue.
For sure.
And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with our "this is not financial advice" trade idea at the end.
Looking forward to that.
But first, let's break down these earnings, right?
Yeah.
What stands out to you right off the bat?
Well, I mean, the thing that jumps out right away is this sort of paradox where Cronos is celebrating this record revenue, but they're battling a supply shortage at the same time.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
It's a fascinating situation.
Like they've figured it out, but they can't quite keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
We're talking a 38% jump in revenue year over year.
Wow.
Hitting $34.3 million.
Nice.
But the shelves are struggling to stay stocked, especially when it comes to their flower products.
Right. Especially those, their GMO cookies, wedding cake, and space cake strains, they're just flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Canada, Israel, Europe. So clearly they're doing something right when it comes to cultivation and appealing to consumer tastes.
Yeah.
So this shortage, though, it really highlights the crucial role of their partnership with GrowCo, their high-tech greenhouse partner.
So GrowCo is Cronos's secret weapon.
Well, maybe not so secret anymore.
Not so secret.
Cronos actually consolidated GrowCo into their financials this quarter.
Okay.
It's already brought in $4.3 million in revenue.
Wow.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Cronos is investing a hefty $51 million to expand GrowCo's facility.
So that's a sign of serious commitment, wouldn't you say?
That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
I think so.
It sounds like they're doubling down on GrowCo to scale up production and meet that skyrocketing demand.
Yeah, and they're not just throwing money at the problem.
Right.
Their purchase agreements with GrowCo are actually quite clever.
Okay.
They prioritize Cronos' own brands while also retaining some flexibility.
So it's a strategic move.
Yeah.
To secure that supply chain while also maintaining control.
Exactly. And this brings us to what's arguably Cronos' biggest win this quarter, the dominance of their spinach brand in Canada.
So spinach is now the #1 cannabis brand in Canada.
It's impressive.
It really is. 4.8% market share.
Yeah.
That's like being the Coca-Cola of Canadian cannabis.
It really is.
It's crazy. And their SOURZ edibles are leading the charge with a 17.2% market share in the edibles category.
Wow.
5 out of the top 10 best-selling edibles in Canada are SOURZ.
That's wild. You've achieved something really remarkable with spinach. This market dominance not only translates into impressive revenue, but it also gives you significant pricing power and leverage with retailers. It's a strategic asset, a real crown jewel in the portfolio. And the success of SOURZ really highlights, I think, Cronos' understanding of consumer trends and their commitment to product innovation.
Yeah, they even launched a caramel green apple SOURZ for the fall season.
Right. Talk about marketing savvy.
Yeah, but there's more to the success than just tasty gummies, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about flavor. It's also about appealing to consumers who are looking for specific experiences, specific dosages, like their fully blasted SOURZ, for example. That's a single 10 milligram THC gummy, became their fastest selling product launch ever.
Wow.
So they're clearly meeting a demand in the market.
Yeah.
And they're not just limiting themselves to those traditional THC edibles. They're incorporating rare cannabinoids like CBG, CBN into their SOURZ gummies. So really offering consumers a wider range of options and potential benefits.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not just following trends. They're actively shaping them.
Yeah.
This is a company that's pushing the boundaries of product development in the cannabis space.
For sure.
So we've got record revenue, a supply shortage they're aggressively addressing.
Yeah.
And a wildly popular brand dominating the Canadian market.
It's true.
What's not to like?
Right. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Right.
we need to look beyond Canada's borders.
Yes, beyond the maple leaves.
Yeah.
Where else are they making waves?
Well, Cronos is planting seeds all over the globe.
Okay.
Israel, Germany, the UK. They're strategically establishing a presence in these really key markets. And what's fascinating is their approach.
Okay.
It's like they're trying to replicate their Canadian success, but in a really calculated way.
So it's not just a copy-paste strategy.
No, not at all. They're really adapting to each region's unique landscape. Like take Germany, for instance. They're leading with their Peace Naturals brand,
Right.
which has a proven track record, in Canada and Israel.
Wow.
So it's like introducing a familiar friend to a new group.
Makes sense.
There's already that built-in trust and recognition.
Yeah.
So it gives them a head start in a new market.
Right.
It's all about finding that sweet spot between global consistency and local relevance.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So while Cronos is leveraging those existing brands, their commitment to product innovation, it's still evident in their SOURZ line.
Oh, absolutely. They're constantly experimenting, new flavors, cannabinoid combinations, different dosage formats,
Right.
To cater to all those diverse consumer preferences out there.
They're not afraid to push those boundaries. Explore the full potential of cannabis, from incorporating those rare cannabinoids, like we said, the CBG, the CBN, launching those seasonal flavors, single-dose gummies. They're constantly innovating and expanding those product offerings.
And it's that dedication to R&D. I think that really sets them apart.
Yeah.
They're not just simply reacting to market trends. They're actively shaping them.
Right.
And let's not forget their breeding program.
Oh, yeah.
That's focused on developing, those really unique, high-quality cannabis strains.
Yeah, their flower products are in high demand. And that partnership with GrowCo, that ensures that consistent supply of premium cannabis.
It's a good partnership.
So it sounds like they're in control of that entire process, from seed to sale.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage.
Huge advantage.
When it comes to quality control and consistency.
For sure. But, we also need to acknowledge the challenges they face.
Okay, so what are some of those challenges?
Well, navigating the complex, ever-changing regulatory landscape.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
That's no easy feat.
Of the cannabis industry, I mean.
Yeah.
It must feel like hitting a moving target.
It does.
They have to stay agile and adaptable to keep pace with regulations both domestically and internationally.
Yeah, and then there's the competition. The cannabis market is getting crowded.
Yeah, it is.
Cronos needs to constantly differentiate itself, build that brand loyalty to stand out. It's a real battle for market share.
Right.
And their marketing and branding strategies really have to be on point. And then there's a whole lingering stigma associated with cannabis.
Right.
Public perception is evolving.
Yeah.
But there's still work to be done, to normalize its use.
Right.
Break down those barriers for new consumers.
Yeah, and Cronos has a responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
To educate consumers, advocate for responsible use, and promote a positive image of the industry.
Yeah, they have to. It's about building a sustainable and ethical future for cannabis.
So, despite these challenges, Cronos seems to be navigating this complex landscape with a clear vision and a solid plan. They're focused on building that global cannabis powerhouse.
Yeah.
And they're making, it seems like the right moves to get there. Their commitment to those premium branded products.
Yeah.
And their strategic approach to global expansion. Those are key.
They're key. They're really playing the long game, investing heavily in the future.
Right.
Building that brand portfolio, expanding production, securing the supply chain, leading the charge in innovation. It's a company worth watching.
Yeah.
Especially for those interested in that, long-term growth potential of the cannabis space.
Speaking of long-term growth, I can't resist asking, what's an outrageous yet plausible trade idea for Cronos? Remember, folks, this is not financial advice, but let's have some fun.
All right. How about this? Buy those long-dated call options on CRN.
Ooh, okay.
You're essentially betting on a major market shift, like
Wow.
U.S. federal legalization, or maybe, a string of really successful international expansions.
Okay.
So, high risk, high reward. But
Yeah.
with that cash on hand, the strategic partnerships and those global ambitions, I think Cronos is really well positioned to capitalize on any sort of industry shakeup.
So hold up. Long-dated call options. That's a pretty bold bet. You really think U.S. legalization is that close?
Well, it's definitely a gamble, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But, consider this. Cronos is sitting on a mountain of cash.
Yeah, we talked about
They're
that.
making some really smart moves internationally, and they're building this brand portfolio
Right.
that could explode if that U.S. market opens up.
Okay, that is a compelling argument.
Yeah,
But, of course, anyone considering this needs to do their due diligence.
absolutely.
We're just kind of exploring the possibilities here.
Yeah, just spitballing.
All right, so that brings us to the end of part 2. We covered Cronos' global strategy, their impressive product development. We even brainstormed a not financial advice trade idea.
Fun stuff.
But we can't wrap up without taking a closer look at their financials and management's insights. Stick around for part 3, where we'll break it all down and leave you with some key takeaways from this deep dive into Cronos Group. Welcome back to Talk Techers. We're in the final stretch of our Cronos Group deep dive, and it's time to put on our, financial analyst hats,
right,
and really examine those numbers.
Yeah,
those all important numbers. We've already touched on their record revenue and their path toward profitability.
Right.
But what other financial highlights caught your eye?
Well, their adjusted gross profit margin of 31% is certainly impressive.
Okay.
It indicates they're managing costs effectively,
right?
Pricing their products strategically, especially considering this is after adjusting for that inventory step up from the GrowCo consolidation.
Right.
This tells me their focus on those premium branded products is really paying off.
Yeah.
They're not just competing on price, they're delivering value and quality that consumers are willing to pay a premium for.
Yeah, it's like the difference between grabbing a generic soda and splurging on a name brand craft beverage. Sometimes you're paying for more than just the basic ingredient.
Exactly.
You're buying into an experience, a brand story, and a certain level of quality.
For sure. And speaking of assets, let's not forget Cronos's war chest, $862 million in cash.
Oh, yeah.
This gives them incredible flexibility to pursue new opportunities, whether it's expanding into emerging markets, investing in cutting-edge R&D, or even making strategic acquisitions.
It's like having a financial safety net and a rocket booster all in one.
It is.
They can weather any storms that come their way and seize opportunities that other companies wouldn't even dream of.
I think so. And their positive cash flow from operations is another encouraging sign.
Okay.
It shows their core business is generating cash, which is crucial for long-term sustainability.
Right.
They're not reliant on external funding to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
This demonstrates a healthy, growing business.
It does. So let's shift gears a little bit and examine management's commentary from the earnings call. What key insights or takeaways jumped out at you?
Well, their optimism about the future was palpable.
Right.
They have a strong belief in their strategy, their team, and their ability to execute those ambitious growth plans.
Yeah.
They see significant opportunities in both domestic and international markets.
Right.
And feel very well positioned to capitalize on them.
Yeah, it's reassuring to hear that level of confidence from the leadership.
Right.
Particularly in an industry as dynamic and as rapidly evolving as cannabis.
Yeah, and their emphasis on building a globally recognized brand portfolio was another crucial point.
So they understand that strong brands are essential for differentiating themselves
for sure
in a crowded market and for commanding that premium pricing.
Yeah, they're not just selling cannabis. They're crafting experiences, curating lifestyles, aligning themselves with specific values.
Right.
Their brands are becoming synonymous with quality innovation and responsible consumption.
It sounds like they're really thinking ahead.
Yeah.
And their commitment to R&D also really shone through.
Absolutely. They see innovation as a key driver of growth and are investing heavily in developing new products, exploring novel cannabinoid combinations, staying ahead of consumer trends.
It's about setting the pace,
right?
Not just keeping up.
Exactly.
They're actively shaping the future of the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time to distill everything we've discussed into some key takeaways for our listeners.
Yeah.
What are the main points you want them to remember about Cronos Group?
Okay, so first and foremost, Cronos has a clear vision and a robust strategy. They're building a global cannabis powerhouse and are making very strategic moves to achieve that goal.
They're not just riding the wave. They're shaping the industry's future.
Right. Second, their laser focus on premium branded products is a major differentiator. They understand that brands are crucial for commanding premium pricing and fostering consumer loyalty.
Yeah, their brands resonate with consumers.
They do.
And that's a valuable asset in an increasingly crowded market.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Third, their financial position is rock solid.
Okay.
They have a healthy balance sheet, ample cash reserves,
Yeah.
and positive cash flow from operations.
So they're financially secure and ready to seize growth opportunities.
Yes, both at home and abroad. And finally, their commitment to R&D and innovation is undeniable.
Yeah.
They're continuously developing new products, exploring novel cannabinoid combinations, and anticipating consumer trends. They're not just reacting to market forces, they're shaping the industry's future.
So there you have it. Cronos Group appears to be a company with a bright future ahead. They're well-managed, financially sound, and strategically positioned for long-term growth. Of course, as always, we encourage you to do your own research and make informed investment decisions. We hope this deep dive into Cronos Group provided you with valuable insights and something to think about. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. Until next time, happy investing.